My love for the Chrysler Pacifica has been very controversial amongst the staff and the listeners of Jalen and Jacoby. I love Chrysler Pacifica so much that I go on and on about them, thus creating a poor user experience for listeners of this podcast. So I will just say it very succinctly and very simply. The Chrysler Pacifica is the best minivan on the market. And if you are in the market for a minivan, get a Chrysler Pacifica. And if you get a Chrysler Pacifica, you can also get the friend and family pricing. That's right. You are family because you are a Jalen and Jacoby listener, and Jalen and Jacoby is part of the Chrysler family. You get $7,113 below the MSRP on 2020 Chrysler Pacifica models. And if you go to givethepeoplepacifica.com and sign up to receive this offer, you get an additional $1,000 off just for being a Jalen and Jacoby listener. Again, that is givethepeoplepacifica.com. That plus the family pricing offer gets you $8,113 off, and your money goes to a good place. Pacifica has a partnership with No Kid Hungry, which provides meals to children in need. Again, the stowaway seating, the outlets, the vacuums, the drive, the comfort, everything is so good with Pacifica. So right now, go to givethepeoplepacifica.com and take advantage of this deal. He's Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do, Jalen?
We give the people what they want.
The Cowboys mounted a miraculous comeback. The Patriots and the Seahawks once again come down to the 1-yard line. But we start in the bubble with the NBA, where Anthony Davis gets the ball from the inbound pass from Rondo, rises up from three to give the Lakers a 2-0 lead over the Nuggets. Jalen, what did you think of this final play?
I think the Denver Nuggets had a lineup on the court for the first time all season and failed to communicate, and it cost them a basketball game. You strictly have Plumlee in the game to stick to Anthony Davis's hip and not give him that much space to get a shot off. Also, if you're the Lakers, hindsight is always 20/20. And if Anthony Davis misses that shot, we're criticizing Vogel. We're criticizing LeBron because LeBron really wasn't scoring since the first half. AD scored all of the Lakers' points basically down the stretch, and so did Joker. And so it was an amazing shot for a young player who now gets a chance to play on the biggest stage. This is why he joined LeBron James in LA, to put himself in position to be a champion. They're going to win it this year, so now we always might as well just get our storylines ready.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Joker's performance at the end of that game because I want to say a couple things about that defense. Number one, Plumlee clearly expected a switch to happen with Grant if they set a screen, but Grant was like, bro, there was no screen set, so why don't you just cover your man? But Jokic actually came out and got a really good contest on that three. And as you mentioned, Jokic was absolutely excellent in the fourth quarter, especially down the stretch. There was that one possession, which I know that you saw, where he just backed into Davis, and took a little Jacoby-ish, little like a right hand. This one right here. Just look at that. He's just backing into him, turning into a little baby look at the rim, which would have won them the game had Anthony Davis not made that shot. But he did. And here we are with the Lakers with a commanding 2-0 lead over the Nuggets. You mentioned LeBron James, who was so good in the first half, but kind of disappeared in the second half. What happened there?
The Nuggets did a great job of defending them. And when you're in your 17th year, Jacoby, I'm noticing that LeBron picks and chooses his spot. Either it's a quarter, either it's a half, either it's a handful of minutes. He understands what the Lakers need when they need it, and he's able to turn it on, in particular scoring the basketball. But he also knows Anthony Davis is going to have to be the difference maker. When the Lakers win the championship this year, he's going to be the finals MVP, Anthony Davis.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We do have some video that we need to break down in detail. It's time to go to the table. Not only did Anthony Davis hit the game-winning shot from three in Jokic's face to take the lead, afterwards, as you will see right here as we go to the table to review the video, he yells Kobe, jumps up, and then completely bodies THT. He totally took out Horton Tucker in the celebration. Look at this angle right here. Bong! Took him out. Jalen, what do you think about his taking out of THT?
It was hilarious, and it was great to watch the Lakers celebrate that moment because, again, if you're the Denver Nuggets, Jacoby, you actually want Anthony Davis taking that shot, but you want Plumlee to be on him and to contest it. Trust me, if he misses that shot, the only thing we talking about today is LeBron James second half and Frank Vogel calling up a play for Anthony Davis to shoot a three late in the basketball game when they were losing. Anthony Davis was terrific by making that shot. He bailed out the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, Jalen, Zerline of the Cowboys bailed out every Cowboy fan and the entire franchise when it came down to an improbable onside kick, which is even harder to convert now. The spinning top that took a right turn at the end to get to 10 yards, to get them the game, to get them the ball, to get them this kick that got them the win. What did you think about this finish? Between the
Lack
Falcons
of attention to
Cowboys?
detail. We just said the exact same thing with the Denver Nuggets. They had a lineup out there that wasn't on the court together the entire season. Plumlee, attention to detail, didn't stay on Anthony Davis's hip. Atlanta Falcons, you can jump on the football. You don't have to wait for it to go 10 yards. What are y'all doing? Y'all on special teams. Therefore, when the ball is kicked, you don't have to wait to jump on it. I don't understand how this happens in the NFL on a Sunday, but people are getting paid millions of dollars to play football, Jacoby. They gave the Dallas Cowboys that game. It was exciting, 40-39. Matt Ryan throwing touchdowns. Dak Prescott rushing for touchdowns, throwing for 450. But if you're the Falcons, you must close the deal, and they didn't do it.
Jalen, I'm going to go the other way and be a contrarian. I totally understand why the Falcons didn't jump on the ball. It did not look like it was going 10 yards. And if you botch it and then it becomes a live ball and you could lose the game for your team, it didn't look like it was going 10 until at the very end when it just took a curve and you could see the panic in all of their body language. They're like, oh, wow, we really messed this one up. You could see it in all of them when they realized it was going to go 10 yards. It was really just a really, really great kick. One of the best onside kicks I've ever seen.
It was.
No tee, spinning top. I've never seen anything like it before, but I do want to celebrate
Free
not
agent
just
acquisition.
their line.
Free agent acquisition, that kicker.
But Dak has a lot of money at stake every time he takes the field. And then after they lost last week, and I chalked this up as a loss before the miraculous comeback, what did you see from Dak, who led this team to get to the position where they got that kick?
Poise, and you highlighted it last week when you acknowledged quarterbacks rushing the football and or getting rushing touchdowns. That was a difference to me. Dak's ability to find pay dirt when he needed it the most. And for him to continue to throw over 400 yards, CeeDee Lamb over 100, Cooper over 100. That's what you're going to expect from the Dallas Cowboys on a weekly basis.
Jalen, you're talking about rushing quarterbacks hitting pay dirt. And Cam Newton has done it for so many years, and he needed to do it just one more time against the Seahawks. It came down to the 1 yard line, as it has between these two teams previously. He scored on a run to the left from the one earlier in the game. They had a lot of options from the one. They'd already scored from the one 3 times, and it looked like the Seahawks saw this coming and blew up the play. What do you think of the play call? What do you think of the play?
I didn't think it was a creative play call. Not too many people are going to say that into a microphone when you talk about Josh McDaniels and you talk about Bill Belichick. But Cam was throwing the football all over the lot. And we know, as you mentioned, that he has the ability to find pay dirt with the best of them as a quarterback. But the Seattle Seahawks saw that play coming. And they stuffed it at the goal line, Jacoby. So that's truly what I felt. And also, let me just say this about Russell Wilson. Because a lot of times we talk about who's the best. No, sorry, I lied. He's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 top quarterback in the NFL. Right there, Russell Wilson. And let me name something that happened yesterday that you're going to appreciate that all of these gentlemen have in common. Metcalf, Lockett, Moore, Carson, and Swain. You know what they all have in common? They caught touchdowns for Russell Wilson yesterday. Because he threw 5 of them. He threw 5 of them.
Hold on, Jalen. Are you trying to tell me Russell Wilson is a better NFL quarterback than Patrick Mahomes? Is that what you're telling me
Yes.
into a microphone in front of a camera?
Yes.
Are you trying to tell me that Russell
Yes.
Wilson is a better NFL quarterback than Lamar Jackson? Is that what you're saying into a microphone in front of a camera?
Yes. I think he's a
disagree with
more
you on
polished
both of those.
version passing than Lamar. I think he's more seasoned under center than Mahomes. If you put Russell Wilson on the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think they go to overtime playing against the Chargers. I really don't believe that they do.
Well, we will get to that game and my guy, Justin Herbert, later. I call him Herbert because, French pronunciation. But, Jalen, this is ESPN. But every Monday, this is also going to be the Cardinals News Network. Because you say that you're such a diehard Lions fan, but the Lions are so bad that we both adopted the Cardinals this year. And you want to know the reason why? Because of play like this from Kyler Murray. Look at Murray go. What did you see from the second-year quarterback?
All I see every time Kyler Murray slings the football is, why didn't the Lions draft Tua? I swear, that's all I see.
Not about the Lions. Cardinals News Network.
Correct. We're going to own as a national television show giving love to the Cardinals because everybody going to talk about the Cowboys. Everybody going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. Everybody going to talk about the Steelers. Everybody going to talk about the Patriots. But that's our squad. And our guy, DeAndre Hopkins, you know what he did yesterday? He caught 8 more footballs, Jacoby. He caught 8 more footballs. And he caught a touchdown. 14-8. That's 22, which means he's averaging 11 catches per game so far this year. 11 catches per game. How about that?
The math work from Jalen Rose. Oh, I love it. And Kyler Murray we saw him run all over the field in college, and you remember the draft, and he's going to play baseball. You can't pick him number 1. He's too short. Doug Flutie's the only successful quarterback at his height. I didn't think he would be able to run in the NFL the way that he would in college. And yesterday's game, he had some fantastic touchdowns run. I think they're both over 20 yards. Salute to Kyler Murray. Salute to Cliff Kingsbury. Salute to our guy.
And by the way,
DeAndre
can I say
Hopkins.
one more thing as we introduce the world to our Cardinals? There isn't a person that's more of a gentleman than Larry Fitzgerald. There isn't more of a gentleman than Larry Fitzgerald. He's the only guy that helps up everybody on each team. He's the only guy. He running around helping up defensive players, telling them nice hit. He's such a gentleman. Larry Fitzgerald for president. I was thinking about it watching the game. We saw Barack Obama do it. Our next black president should be Larry Fitzgerald.
Stick to sports. When we come back, we have so much more from NFL Sunday to give you. Stay tuned. You're watching Jalen Jacoby.
Jalen and Jacoby is brought to you by Burger King, the one and only BK Flame Grilled Whopper, and Dos Equis, a most interesting beer. Please enjoy responsibly.
It's a new season, and it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you'll be stepping out like a pro.
Don't you think some of those once-in-a-blue moon moments should happen more than once in a blue moon? You know what I'm talking about. When you get together with old friends, you have a nice dinner with a young lady or romantic interest, happy hour, or just having a relaxing night in. Those should not be once in a blue moon moments. Those should happen more than once in a blue moon. And Blue Moon, the beer, is on a mission to celebrate and inspire more of those moments. Just like those looking for the special in every day, Blue Moon takes a twist on the traditional Belgian beer. Blue Moon was created way back in 1995, right around the Sandlot Brewery in Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Every time you drink a Blue Moon, you get that one-of-a-kind experience because of the one-of-a-kind appearance and the bright taste. It has refreshing notes of a full-flavored beer, but also with a little subtle orange flavor. I love Blue Moon so much. I love taking the orange slice, plopping it in the beer, having that flavor infused into my beer experience, and then at the end, I eat the orange. I eat the orange from the Blue Moon because it tastes so good. The next time you're hanging out with friends or just enjoying a night in, reach for a Blue Moon. It's the beer you can enjoy every day. You can have Blue Moon delivered to you, too. All you have to do is go to get.bluemoonbeer.com, and you can find delivery options near you. Blue Moon, reach for the moon. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
It's a new day on ESPN Radio with new voices that have big things to say. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
That's how you build a winning culture.
The Dan Lebatard Show with Stugotz.
You are like the Einstein of life.
Brady.
How ridiculously good was that?
The Max Kellerman Show.
Why not get out in front of it?
And Janae and Golick Jr.
I knew we were destined for greatness.
All day, every day.
Big names, new voices.
It is time to go to work.
Real talk. Weekdays on ESPN Radio, ESPN News, and smart speakers everywhere.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. A lot of games to discuss from yesterday, so you will decide which ones we discuss. It's time to keep it moving.
Tag! Woo! Tag!
If you want to discuss the game, say hit the brakes. If not, me, you, and Method Man will keep it moving. We start with the Chargers taking the Super Bowl champion Chiefs into overtime. Keep moving, hit the brakes. Tyrod Taylor had a mysterious chest injury, which forced my new guy, Justin Herbert, who I'm calling Air Bear because he's not a Herb or a Bert, and he played great. They had an 11-point lead, and of course, Mahomes brought them all the way back. Jalen, more impressed with the Chargers or the Chiefs after this one?
I'm more impressed with the Chiefs because when you're the defending Super Bowl champion, you know what's going to happen every Sunday? People are going to use you as a measuring stick. And while we're going to celebrate the Chiefs and we're going to give them not 5, not 6, not 7 championships once Mahomes signed a $500 million deal, the other NFL teams are going to show up to play. And as long as you got a Bosa on your defensive line, he's going to get sacks. And so they're going to apply pressure. And the Chargers did a terrific job of extending that game, as you mentioned, with their backup quarterback and getting it into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert didn't get any first-team snaps all week long. It wasn't like a rookie quarterback that knew he was going to start. He found out he was starting minutes before the game and played absolutely great. Salute to him. And, man, they should have stopped Mahomes on that 3rd and 20. Moving on. The Detroit Lions played a professional football game yesterday.
Meow.
Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
What is going on with the Lions? They're so bad. I told you that the Packers would put up 40. Aaron Jones had 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. What is happening with your franchise?
So I normally don't do this. But I need to go off on my team for a minute. I'm a frustrated fan right now, dog. Let me tell you something. You know there is no direction when you draft 2 running backs, Kerryon Johnson and Swift, yet you bring in a future Hall of Famer and Adrian Peterson on a 1-year deal, and he's getting as many, if not more, carries than them. Just think about that for a second. Number 1. Number 2, I said we should have drafted Tua. Jacoby, you and I joked about this. The Detroit Lions had a card, and I'm pretty sure when they walked it up to the podium, it said quarterback, but they got it confused and took a cornerback. Only the Lions will pay Matt Stafford top dollar to win 6 games this year. Free Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford.
Free Detroit from the tyranny of the Lions
losing. Put him in a situation to where you trade him and get value for him, take his salary off the books, and draft Tua. I don't understand. I love Jeff Okuda. I know he's a great cornerback, but we just had an all-pro cornerback that we didn't decide. We didn't re-sign Big Play Slay. If you wanted to lock down the corners, keep Slay, get Okuda, and be locked down. Don't let Slay leave and draft the corner. Oh, man, it's just so frustrating, Jacoby. It's so frustrating.
They've lost 11 straight games, yet Matt Patricia is still employed. He will have a long, successful career as a defensive coordinator, but he obviously is not the head coach for this franchise. Moving on. My new team, the Buffalo Bills, continue their winning.
Hit the brake.
Keep moving or hit the brake. Josh Allen, over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns against a weak Dolphins team. Do you think the Bills are a legitimate threat in the AFC?
I do, and they can win their division. But here's what I want to say. Hey, Minnesota, Did you see Stephon Diggs yesterday?
Yeah.
You can use him.
Oh, those
because Cousins threw 3 interceptions. When you have a quarterback, you're supposed to be getting them weapons, not taking them away. And so for Allen, who's a dual threat player in Buffalo, that squad continues to show promise. That was a really good win, even though the Dolphins are going to have a long season.
Ravens and Texans not as competitive as I expected. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving. Shout to Humphreys. Shout to Peters. My guys making plays yesterday for the Ravens.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
The Eagles are really
hit the brakes on this one.
Hit the
brakes on this one.
Jared Goff and the Rams go 2-0, but this feels to me like it's more about Carson Wentz poor play through 2 weeks. What do you think of the Eagles?
I think Carson Wentz shows up at work each week and he sees a statue outside of the building of Doug Peterson and Nick Foles celebrating because they won the Super Bowl together. That's hard to live up to, fam. They're doing whatever they can to build around Carson Wentz. They're moving Peters from right side to the left side. They drafting a Jalen in the first round. They got Deshaun back. They're trying to do everything they can to support Carson Wentz. And he's really struggling, Jacoby. They're 0-2. And usually when you drop to 0-2, you don't make the playoffs. That's not going to sit well in Philadelphia if this continues.
Well, this will continue. However, they are in the worst division in football, so they may still make the playoffs. We'll keep an eye on the Cowboys and see what they can do. Jalen, Tom Brady did something he has never done before yesterday. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
He got a win with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Brett Favre in the stands watching. Jalen, Fournette had a big run at the end. What did you think of Tom Brady and Tampa?
I told you that Leonard Fournette was going to be the key to this team. Jones, productive running back. McCoy, productive catching yesterday. But now they got a bell cow. And that's going to be Tom Brady's best friend throughout these dog days. Turn around, hand the football off to Leonard Fournette. Okay? Godwin didn't play. Evans was making plays. Hand the football off to Fournette during the regular season. He had 2 touchdowns yesterday. He's going to be Tom Brady's best friend.
Tom Brady got his first win with the Buccaneers. Patriots Seahawks goes down to the last second. Miraculous comeback from the Cowboys, but none of those were the most impactful thing that happened this NFL weekend. We'll tell you what that is right after this.
Jalen and Jacoby is brought to you by Ram, built to serve, and Burger King, the one and only BK Flame Grilled Whopper.
Wednesday night, 8:30 on ESPN. Huge game in the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 4. Can the Celtics even it up with the Heat, or will the Heat take a commanding 3-1 lead before the game? Get ready for it with the NBA Countdown crew at 7:30 on ESPN. Thank you for watching on television, but make sure you subscribe to our podcast. We always have exclusive content every single day just for our podcast listeners. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we had such a fantastic weekend of action in the NFL, but it did come at a cost. In week 2 alone, we lost a long list of star players to injury. Jalen, do you think this is a function of no preseason games, shortened training camp, or is it just bad luck?
No, football is a physical sport, and each season this happens, Jacoby. It's just that when they're notable running backs on their rookie deals that are 3-down bell cows like Saquon Barkley, who's out for the year with a torn ACL, and Christian McCaffrey out several weeks with an ankle injury, that's what makes you look at the fortunes of their teams and be like, basically their seasons are over. So like after 2 weeks, you lose an important player like that, and all of a sudden it seems like their goals, their opportunity to achieve their goals will not happen without those 2 guys being healthy for the season and or for several weeks in McCaffrey's case.
And the 49ers were absolutely decimated yesterday in their games, and losing Garoppolo and Bosa and others. It's just been such a bad day of injuries. It's so hard to see. And not only do I wish all of those players healthy, speedy recovery, but also I wish their fantasy owners condolences as well. I know I picked Saquon Barkley first, and now I'm in trouble. Jalen, you have a special message to finish the show today. What is that?
Rest in peace to Mary Bell Hicks. My family lost Grammy at 103 years of age. I just want to celebrate her legacy. She did a terrific job of being the leader and the matriarch of our family, and we're forever grateful that she was our leader. Heaven garnered an angel, literally Jacoby, in my grandmother.
Jalen, this is not just a show, but it's also a family. So on behalf of myself and the entire staff of Jalen and Jacoby, we wish you and your family condolences, thoughts, and prayers. We'll be back tomorrow on ESPN at 2. Goodyear believes that movement drives us forward, that every mile traveled brings us one step closer to our goals. But Goodyear also believes in the importance of a rest stop, in taking a breather to pause and reflect on the road ahead. Sometimes that's all we need to keep going, a moment to compose ourselves before we start moving forward again. So as you get ready to start moving again, Goodyear's here to help. Visit Goodyear.com to learn more. Goodyear, more driven. We always say we give the people what they want. Part of that is doing podcast exclusive content for the people. Now, Jalen, before we get to what happened with Ty Lawson in China, before we get to the important voicemails that we have from the people, I want to discuss the end of the Lakers-Nuggets game in a little more detail without the constructs of television, and especially acknowledge a couple things. Because you talked about this in the TV portion. If that shot is 3 inches to the right or left, the way that the storyline shifts so much. And one thing that we've done over 10 years is not overreact to small things that could have gone one way or the other, because Jokic dominated the end of that game. He really did. When he hit the three, and then they really needed a bucket to get the lead, and he bullied Anthony Davis on the block. That's who you voted Defensive Player of the Year. Bullied him, just backed into him, and had a short little jump hook to get the lead. And I also want to recognize this. The Plumlee Grant thing is miscommunication. It happens. It's, we've seen it before. But I also want to recognize Jokic covering Rondo inbounding the ball, sniffing out the pass going to AD, and recovering quickly. For someone who weighs 450 pounds, he recovered quickly to contest that shot. That was such a great shot from AD. But Jalen, take us behind the curtain. What happened between Plumlee and Grant?
I want to go behind the curtain on a couple of things. What happened with Plumlee and Grant was a miscommunication that happens when you have an unfamiliar lineup on the floor. That ended a game closing team for the Denver Nuggets was the only time they had ever been on the floor together all season. Just think about that. That was the only time they had been on the floor together in the most important moment of their season. So, number one, that can't be the case if you're the coaching staff. Number two, Plumlee, Grant, you're solely in to play defense on LeBron or AD. Newsflash, one of them is getting the ball. One of them is getting the ball, right? So, therefore, you, Plumlee, have to put your chest on his left shoulder, on his right shoulder, and stay on that right hip at all times. If there's no screen and then they throw that ball in and he gets doubled and it's a horrible shot, you know what we doing today? Criticizing Frank Vogel.
Plumlee.
Yep. Criticizing Frank Vogel.
No, can I bring this up? I'm watching the thing being like, all right, they're probably going to go to LeBron here. LeBron didn't post up. He didn't set a pick. He sat there. It looked like he wanted Rondo to lob the ball over Grant for him to get it going the other direction from the basket with 2 seconds left from about 25 feet. Like, I don't know what LeBron was doing there because he didn't do anything. I think he wanted to lob over the top. Am I wrong in reading that?
If you're you're right about what LeBron wanted, but also if you're the Denver Nuggets, you kind of got the shot that you wanted. Let me say that again. You got the shot that you wanted. If you look at the Los Angeles Lakers team, and you have to pick somebody to take a contested shot over Jokic at the end of the game, and you're up, and it's for the win, you start looking and you're like, well, Anthony Davis, we'd rather have him, yeah. And so, again, LeBron James, like you mentioned, didn't move on that play. And if Anthony Davis misses that shot, oh, man, the criticism that he and Frank Vogel will be getting today will be astronomical.
And I really think that Rondo wanted a lob pass from Rondo, but I don't understand what he thought he was going to do. He's going to take that sidestep three and miss it. I guarantee it. But another thing about that play, which is why I think Anthony Davis rose up so confidently and hit that, if you forget, and little things like this get forgotten a lot, he had just hit a three from that spot. It was a step back, but it was from that exact same spot in front of Mike Malone. He had just hit it. And it's kind of like when you miss one from the corner, but the rebound comes back to you and you're in the same spot, or like your second free throw. It's just like he felt confident from that spot. He had just hit one from that spot. That's why when he rose up, I was like, oh, that's good. That's good. And also, like, I kind of felt like the Lakers fell apart at the end there. You know what I mean? I really feel like they kind of fell apart. And you're looking at LeBron James, the greatest player of all time, in my opinion. We don't have to argue about that. And, like, to score 6 points in the second half after being as hot as he was, it was just interesting. And he's not tired. He's playing less minutes than he did in the regular season in the playoffs this year.
So let me just acknowledge this. Because when Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, there were a lot of people that tried to create a false narrative that because he chose to do a peaceful protest, that people would stop watching football. That was not the case. He had the number one selling jersey. And so what I want to make sure I do is give LeBron James, the social justice warrior, credit for a duality that he's juggling. Whether it's more than a vote, whether it's the things that he does that makes him different than most superstars as it relates to using his voice for situations that are bigger than him in society. And I'm going to applaud LeBron James this conference finals and the NBA finals for that duality, because he won a championship this year. Ain't no skyscrapers out there no more. Ain't no skyscrapers. Kawhi's not there. None of the Nuggets have been to the finals. The Heat and the Celtics are ahead of schedule. That should have been the Bucs. They disappointed. LeBron winning it this year.
All right,
but
so
AD
Jalen,
winning finals. But you ready for this? But AD winning finals MVP. So what I want to say to you is, how are you?
You picked the Clippers. You picked the Clippers, and they lost.
I did.
No except for me really thought that the Bucs would lose to the Heat, and they lost. I think that, of course, the Lakers are favorites, not just in Vegas, but in anyone's mind to win the championship. But I don't think it's as done a deal as you think, because we've seen some odd results from this odd environment.
And
I would also say,
Jacoby,
there's a part of LeBron. Listen, no, I'm not disagree with you about one thing. There's a part of LeBron that knows about the legacy and knows that getting 4 NBA finals and 4 championships with 3 different teams would notch him up a little bit higher. So I think that he'll be stat chasing a little bit in these finals. And I think that he'll kind of have an eye, not just on the opponent, but on Anthony Davis and on that NBA Finals MVP. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up with I disagree with you about the Finals MVP. I think he's going to rack up numbers in that Finals.
Finals MVP doesn't just happen during that final series. It's throughout the playoffs. And for the Lakers, Anthony Davis has been the more consistent performer for their team.
Agreed. Probably in the whole entire league. Probably in the whole entire league.
We see moments from LeBron where he take over for a quarter, take over for a half, that type of thing.
Play defense for possession.
But Anthony Davis is the person that they're drawing up the last second shot for.
Interesting. Well, we'll have a lot more to discuss in this. You know, it is only 2-0, and we have seen the Nuggets come back before. We've seen it happen. So
not gonna be able to do it.
We'll keep an eye on that.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Listen, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but we've seen them do it to the Clippers.
Nobody loves the Nuggets more than you and I. Not gonna be able to do it. Not gonna be able to do
it. Yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to Dozier. Getting big minutes. Getting big minutes. Gotta hit one of those free throws though, my guy. You can't miss 2. You can't look shook and miss 2. Your body language can't look like that when you're shooting free throws at the end of a Western Conference Finals game. Come on, man. But he did play well. Now, there are more football topics we need to get to, but when I saw this news over the weekend, I had to discuss it with you, Jalen Rose. It came from a series of Instagram stories from a gentleman by the name of Ty Lawson, who's playing for the Sturgeons in the Chinese Basketball Association. And he had an Instagram story with just text that mentioned something about Chinese women having cakes. And then it was a photo of himself, what I believe was getting a lap dance. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. He took a photo of a mirrored ceiling of himself getting a lap dance. And for those 2 social media posts, he was deemed no longer eligible to play in the Chinese Basketball Association. I have a lot of follow-up questions for you, Jalen Rose. A lot. But number one, I just want to get your reaction from this very important journalistic news story.
Playing basketball in a communist country, there's certain things that you can't do, and they suffocate your voice and how you use your social media when you're in China. It's not just Ty Lawson. It's everybody.
Good point. How did he even post? I'm surprised he could even post.
Right? It ain't just him. It's everybody.
No,
it's
everybody.
I know that he was having a really good time, and I'm clearly not going to vilify him for enjoying himself or appreciating Case or and a lap dance is heavenly. But I will say this. It cost him his job. It cost him his job.
Yeah.
And so I always talk to young people about using social media to your benefit, not your detriment. I believe if he knew that he was going to lose his job, he would not have pressed send.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know how it is. You're out and having fun and you're in a foreign country. You don't really have a lot of interactions with Americans, and social media can kind of alleviate that and bridge that for you. And you just kind of want to get some replies and kind of feel like you're still part of that society and you can be ostracized as a foreign person out there. But I also want to say this as 2 people who are retired from gentlemen's clubs, but also offer lots of advice for those that are still in the game. When you take out your passport and get on a plane or a boat and you end up in a different land, everything you've learned up to that point, you have to readjust and read the room. You know, I remember being in Germany, and I had a $2 euro coin, which is what, like, at the time, I think it was like $3.75, right? And I kind of like flicked it onto the stage, trying to be nice. Like, hey, here's $3.75. And I was like over here drinking, not even like paying attention. I'm not sitting on the stage like salivating. I'm just like, hey, here you go. Thanks for your time. I appreciate your service. And then I'm sitting down to have my drink. And this young lady picked up that $2 euro coin, which is like pretty heavy. It's not like a quarter in America. Like, this thing's heavy. And she tried to Joe Kelly me, man. She threw that thing at me so hard. Like, she wound up. Like from the like not even from the stretch, like full wind up, trying to injure me with that $2 coin. I was like, I thought I was doing you a favor. The rules are different. The rules are different. I remember I went to Greece one time and I went to a strip club. I was like, oh, this is not a strip club. I'm leaving. This is not. I thought it looks like a strip club from the outside, but when I get to the inside, I realized that is not a strip club, and I am leaving. And I did not spend very much time in that establishment. Let's just say that. So be careful out there if you're on the road. Jalen, I want to give a big shout to James White of the Patriots, who both his parents were in a very difficult car crash. His father passed. It's got to be very difficult for him. And I also want to give a big shout to Bryson DeChambeau for winning the U.S. Open, changing the game of golf, just hitting as hard as he can off the tee and figuring out from there. Oh, I ended up in the rough, no big deal. I'll figure it out from there. Shout to DeChambeau. And we always say we get the people they want. Part of that is listening to voicemails from the people. Jalen, what's the number to call?
985-80-JALEN.
You do that, you'll get on the show just like this.
What up, Jalen Jacoby? This is Carter calling from the 303. What up, Jalen? Denver in the house, formerly of South Florida. Quick question for you guys. Is it cultural being barefoot? Moving to Denver, obviously, people are real hippie out here. Barefoot is kind of a way of life, but I think it's disgusting as hell to see somebody be barefoot in a hotel room. So tell me, is it cultural, just always being barefoot, or possibly regional? Let me know. Take care.
Oof. Well, a couple things. We're going to get to your question, Carter, but Jalen, I want to congratulate you on the Renaissance Man, your new project with the New York Post. But you can't be putting your feet in the social media posts anymore. You're distracting from the promotion. I always thought you were a marketing genius, like you say you're a marketing genius, but that's not a marketing genius at work because it's very distracting. It's very distracting. You take a picture of your feet standing on top of the ad in the post for your new project. So next time,
it's me acknowledging that I'm putting new footprints in the game. That's the marketing promotion.
Let's show the bottom of your feet, because the top of your feet ain't
It's definitely cultural, to be honest with you, being barefoot. And I literally just looked down at my phone and got the unfortunate news that Saquon Barkley has a torn ACL and will miss the remainder of the season.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we knew he had a torn ACL. We all knew this was coming. But he'll be out for the season. Hopefully he gets back. He's my first pick in my fantasy league. There's that. The Jalen Jacoby fantasy league. Saquon goes down. But, man, the Giants can't catch a break. The Jets can't catch a break. The Jets are so bad. The Jets are so bad. The Jets, Lions, Giants, y'all should get relegated. You should really get relegated.
But, yeah,
also,
barefoot
I don't know why.
It's definitely cultural. More people that look like Jacoby walking around barefoot than look like me. Shout out to the 303. I love Denver.
I have a confession for Carter. He said that he gets disgusted every time he sees someone in a hotel room barefoot. I'll walk around the hotel room barefoot. I do that. You're in lots of hotel rooms. Don't you walk around barefoot, Jay?
I do. No, think about it. I always have on socks for the most part. I'm a sock guy, except when I'm in the bed. I'm a sock guy.
I got my feet got to breathe. I told it to my son. My son slept in socks last night. And I remember my mom when I was a kid used to say your feet got to breathe. And ever since then, I can't sleep
they start
with socks
stinking.
on.
They start stinking.
Yeah, I told my son, I was like, you gotta let those things breathe. You gotta get those out.
Yeah, you gotta let them boys breathe. They start stinking.
Oh, this dude waking up every day at 5:15. We got time for one more voicemail. What do you got, man?
Jalen Jacoby, it's Ari from Baltimore. So I work at a Mexican restaurant. I know you're big foodies, so I want to know what's your order. You got white or brown rice? What's your choice of meat? You got the mild, medium, hot salsa. You put corn on it, any cheese, guac, lettuce. What's your order? Both you guys, I want to hear what you got. Love the show, guys. Thank you so much. Peace.
Great question. I've got a lot of opinions about this one, Jalen. But me and you have gone to many Mexican restaurants before, and you're all over the place. But what is your number one go-to order at a Mexican restaurant?
So I have veneers, and I shouldn't be eating chips because they're just not good for my teeth, and it keeps sending me back to the dentist. And so anything hard, I need to officially be off. So I'm off the chips. Off the chips. However, all soft tacos, all Mexi melt type things. I like chicken. I like shrimp. I like the beans. I like the rice. I like brown rice. I like yellow rice. I prefer that over white rice. When I'm at my favorite Mexican spot that I go to in New York has great margaritas, frozen margaritas, mango. I'll give me a couple mango margaritas. I'll get me a fajita maybe. You know, sometimes I just like when the plate come to my table and it's sizzling. You know, I like when the plate is sizzling.
Jalen, you've been on the road, working from home, pandemic style. And I want to tell you what happened on Friday. We got finished with the show, and I went to our local Mexican restaurant that we like to go to. You know the one. And I had a margarita by myself. It was Friday afternoon. And I did the same. I did what you asked. I did what you just said. I got the sizzling, hot, steaming chicken fajitas. Because I like to be able to make my own. I like to be able to construct to get all the ratio right of the different elements. But my go-to to answer your question, Ari, is shredded beef enchiladas with black beans and peppers. I love shredded beef enchiladas. I love shredded beef enchiladas. That would be my number one go-to order. Appreciate the calls. Don't forget to call 985-80-JALEN. We will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Why is that, Jalen Rose? Oh, wait, hold on, Jalen. Before we go. Hold on. Before we go. Jalen Rose. Got to give a big shout out to Matt Bishop. Matt Bishop's been directing the show from home for quite some time. Unbeknownst to us, no one knows why, when, what, or how, but he told us that he's no longer be working on the show every day. Matt Bishop, thank you so much for your service. I'm sure you'll be back. And you know what? We'll be back too. Why is that, Jalen Rose?
We appreciate you, Matt. Shout out to your Buffalo Bills. Don't allow Jacoby to jump on the bandwagon because you've been riding with your team and you know the history of them going to 4 straight Super Bowls and you lived through that pain and now you get a chance to see Stephon Diggs hitting his head in the goal post. Don't let Jacoby on your corner. We appreciate you, Matt. Thanks for the love. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done.
You got to give the